Hello and welcome to another edition of Citizen Herald. This is a weekly program where we call upon citizens who have contributed to our newspaper, O Heraldo, the voice of Goa, to come and showcase their problems before a television audience, to highlight the problem, and sometimes we add visuals and videos to it so that the problem is graphically represented before the citizens as well as the authorities who are supposed to take action on these matters which are festering and causing inconvenience to citizens. Today I have with me another citizen journalist, Mr. Alwyn D'Sa from Miramar, who is a citizen journalist who is very much active on the social scene to highlight people's problem. Alwyn, welcome to the program.
Thank you.
So, as we have already mentioned, Mr. Alwyn was earlier present on one of our other programs, and he is a frequent contributor and frequently raises a number of issues concerning the people and the people's good. So, this time what is the problem that you have highlighted? Please tell us.
There was an article, there was a newspaper picture on Sunday Herald about the soak pit which was passing through a water pipeline going through a soak pit.
Yeah.
So, this is a disgusting and unbelievable. How can anybody even think of letting a water pipeline go through a soak pit?
Okay. So, there is this problem which has been highlighted in the area of Fontainhas, that a water pipeline is passing through a sewage chamber, and there are also power cables which are passing through this sewage chamber. Now, before we get into the problem and we look at the dangers which are involved, the authorities who have to take up these issues and what are the solutions, I would first like you to introduce yourself and then also tell us what motivates you to take questions which are pertaining to the public good.
I get very disturbed when I see things are all, disarray in whole of city of Panjim. I love Panjim, I love Goa, and whatever best I can do for my city and for my fellow men, I like to do. So I'm very active, and even sometimes at nights I start thinking, what is this issue, what is that issue, let me write about this, let me bring this to the authorities. So that is my motivation, because I just love Goa and I want Goa to become one of the top cities.
Yeah.
Like how even in North India you have cities like Indore and Nagpur. They were all very ordinary cities, but today they are on the top.
Yeah.
Why can't Panjim, just having such a 7-8 square kilometers of area, become something like that? What is wrong with Panjim? I just do not understand.
Yeah.
Is something wrong with the administration or the will of the people or will of the government?
Yeah. And for how long you have been highlighting issues pertaining to the people, especially in Miramar, in Panjim?
Many years I've been active, even in the area where I stay in La Kampala. I bring out a lot of issues, and luckily we have a good corporator, Mr. Suren Fatad and Joel Andrad. They are very helpful and try to solve our problems, not just in our area, but in general about the traffic situation, about the safety of the people, and many other aspects I generally write and bring these topics up so that they are taken up by authorities, and a solution can be got for such problems.
Okay. So, the problem that Alwyn has highlighted is the water pipeline passing through a sewage chamber and the power cable passing through the sewage chamber. So, let us have a look at the visuals that we have, where we can see what is the problem and people can understand what exactly is the problem. Right. Now, this problem, just oversight or just neglect or just unconcern on the part of the contractor, what are the dangers that can be posed with this kind of a situation when the sewage lines and the water line and the power cables get all mixed up?
This is actually very, very repulsive to think of. I mean, would you keep your food items in your toilet at home, or would you keep your cooked items in your toilet? It's just like that. You're letting a water pipeline pass through a sewage. This can, people had can get jaundice, people can get infection because of, there could be a rupture of the pipeline, anything could happen to the pipeline over a period of time. And nobody is doing constant inspection to those pipes which are passing through. We had an instance of last time what happened in Panjim. There was a jaundice outbreak. And some of the restaurants had to be closed up because for some time till a new water pipeline was laid. This is not acceptable. And where are the supervisors? If some ordinary people, the workmen have done it out of ignorance, where are the supervisors and engineers? How could they not look at it? And fortunately, somebody has observed it and brought it to the attention of the authority. Else it could be just, going through that, and someday there would be a rupture of the pipeline. Similarly, the workers themselves have said, "Aisa to hum log bahut jagah mein aisa kaam kiya." That means it could be the same problem in other lines where they are right from Tonka to wherever. So a thorough inspection has to be done for all this.
So in this case,
proper isolation.
In this case it has been noticed. Now it's very important that you mentioned the jaundice outbreak in Panjim, because it happened right in the heart of Panjim, where there is a hotel which is located, hotel in the sense with rooms. It was at that time I think a one-star hotel. And at that time the two pipelines, that is the sewage pipeline and the water pipeline, were running parallel, and both the pipelines had ruptured. And since there was no water, because there used to be just 1 or 2 hours of supply of water in Panjim at that point of time, and when the water supply is not there, at that time the sewage has infiltrated into the water pipeline and come into the tap water system.
That is what happened, because there is no pressure in the water supply, so the water gets into the drinking water pipeline.
So in this case also, in the present case also, a similar kind of thing has happened.
This is worse than that, because if you have a water pipeline going into the sewage pit, is it acceptable? It's incredible.
So you have used the words that this is unhygienic, this can rupture, you can even have an epidemic, and your article which you have written says save citizens from being poisoned. So that is how it is, because if it gets dangerous, there is a risk not only to people's health in the short term, but in the long term there can be a risk to life also.
True, very true.
Now, what are the authorities that people can approach in case such a situation happens in their locality?
First of all, right now this work mainly is done by PWD. So PWD has to have proper supervision of the works. Then CCP also has to have a proper supervision. Then the Smart City Private Limited officials, they need to be more proactive and check the ongoing work and find out any defects in the work that is being carried out. And also the collector needs to be in the loop, because if there are safety and security concerns in this, where people's lives are at risk. So all these people have to have a proper coordination, so that everything that is done is very transparently done, so that the safety of the people, everything is taken into into consideration.
So it's very important that we have outlined which are the authorities that people should approach in case this kind of a shoddy job is done. Now, most importantly, since the work is being executed by a company which is Smart City Private Limited, it is their primary responsibility to see that the work is planned properly and executed properly. It is within the jurisdiction of the Corporation of City of Panjim. Therefore, they are also not only responsible, but they should be liable. And the PWD contractors are, the PWD supervisors, especially the executive engineers and the junior engineers, are supposed to supervise the work and come and see that these works are executed as per certain standards which are as per their rule book or manual. And even today we have a situation where the Revenue Minister Atanasio Montserrat has made a remark when media people asked him that salt water is being used for smart city works. So it is as shocking as that salt water is being used, and therefore the works which are executed can get corroded at any time. And Babush has turned around and said that it is the responsibility of the PWD engineers to go and supervise. He is saying it is not my job in order to check what material is being used, but it is the job of the the PWD engineers, and rightly so.
True.
So these are the officials that we have to approach, and including the collector, because if there is a situation where there is an epidemic or where there is a danger to the lives of people, it is the collector's office which has to be approached. And I was also thinking that the health authorities should be involved in this work.
Yes.
Because here there is a question of sewage,
Yes.
and there are homes of people involved, there are business establishment involved, there are restaurants and eateries involved.
Yes.
So therefore the health authorities also
Yes.
should
We
be
overlook them. Actually, we need to have health
And-
people also to.
Yeah. And what you mentioned is very important, that very often we have these individual agencies or departments or private limited companies working independently, and the very important word which you mentioned is coordination. So therefore very often each one does their own work and gets away, and the people are left to fend for themselves because there is no coordination between the agencies. Now in this case itself, when they are laying the service lines, whether it is any electricity cable, or it is a water connection or a sewage connection or any other connection like fibers and all that stuff, one has to ensure that these are laid in a proper manner and they don't get entangled.
Proper mapping has to be done of that.
Yeah. So therefore there has to be a plan. So with that we come to the fourth section of our program, where we look at what are the solutions. When this kind of a problem occurs, what are the solutions that one can think of? What is your personal solutions?
Firstly, I feel there should be, since all the pipelines are laid, sewage, and there are water pipeline, then there are even power cables, even the gas pipelines. So they have to be properly mapped. All the services, including water, sewage, electrical, other utility cables.
So basically there should be a underground map.
Yes.
And these maps should outline where each of these service lines have to be laid.
And they should be properly bifurcated. The water pipeline, drinking water supply has to be completely isolated from the other, the utility line.
Yeah.
Then the supervision by qualified engineers, town planners.
Yeah.
It's just like we enact many rules, but they are not properly enforced. It is just like how we install CCTV. There are so many CCTV installed.
Yeah.
But you see, if there is no proper mining of the data, there is no proper monitoring of the results that are coming out,
so
what is the use of CCTV?
So basically analysis and then acting on the data that they have mined.
Yeah. And then any defects are there, they need to amend whatever is wrong, so that we come in a then this CCTV system I was talking about, they're like white elephants because they just install this. Somebody spends a lot of money and makes a big show of installing, but nobody is there to monitor.
Yeah.
And what is the use of such TVs?
Yeah.
And now people have gone through tremendous hardship because of this smart city work. Of course, it was required because to upgrade the city, but then there are a lot of traffic jams, dust pollution, noise pollution. There's danger to life. There are cases where I've seen from Tonka to Sant Ines Church, it is all a residential area, and the work is going on. Of course, you have to do it, but in the night time there were soak pits which are open. I as a citizen, once I was walking there in the night, and I saw, till the time the shops are open, you can get a little light on the streets. Once the shops are closed, it's total dark. You could just go straight into a pit. I have lifted a wooden piece and put on one of the chambers which was open, because I couldn't get anybody else there.
Okay.
I mean, I am not saying that I have done a great thing, but anybody could fall in such pits. So that sort of work, there had to be proper signboards everywhere, the scope of the work which is being done, so that people are aware how long this work is going to take.
And that is mandatory.
It is mandatory. It has to be. And then there are blinking lights that could be put, which is never done anywhere, Panjim. And in the night time, people are obviously walking in this Sant Ines to Tonka Road because people live in that area. Any child or any animal also could go into the pit. So these sort of safeguards are very important to me. You just cannot do half-assed work. That is what I am saying. With things visible and invisible, I have written in my letter, which is not just, we don't want a cosmetic finish. We want a work which is laid in such a way for the next 10-15 years, we don't need to dig any of the roads or the footpaths. Like the new road that is laid, opposite the parade ground, excellent road. that sort of road we require.
Yeah.
But the asphalting which is done on the DV mark, it is horrible in the sense that you got a half 6 inches to 10 inches depth between one road and the other road.
Yeah, the
So
old road.
Old road and the new road.
Yeah.
And the new road cannot be asphalted because it is concrete already.
Yeah.
So how do you go along on such roads?
Yeah.
Think of a motorbike or a scooter going on such things.
Yeah.
And in the rainy season, it could be very dangerous.
And at night also it cannot be seen because you are not forewarned that this kind of a work is going on.
And DB Marg is a very narrow road, and traffic is always chock-a-block there. And in the rainy season, you will not know where the gutter is, where the road is ending. And
Yeah.
there could be many mishaps. Motorbikes, they try to push from any side. They
Yeah.
will fall into this side of the, because the edge is so 10 inches some places,
Yeah.
almost 12 inches,
Yeah.
the road and the sides.
Yeah.
This is not the type of road, and there is no proper road engineering.
Yeah. So now you have highlighted this issue of the water pipeline passing through the sewage chamber,
Yes.
and this is part of smart city work. Now, as a citizen, what is your opinion just on the manner in which the smart city works are being executed all across the city? You must have seen different areas, like for example, where our office is located in Sant Tome Fontainhas area.
Yes.
You would have seen in the main streets, that is the AB road and the other roads where the sewage work is going on. Mostly it is sewage work. And the second kind of activities which is being carried out is smart pavements and smart roads which are being carried out. So as a citizen and a public spirited citizen at that, what is your opinion on the manner in which the works are being carried out, especially with regard to the safety of citizens?
Yeah, this work has to be done, but then you see they have to do phase by phase. First of all, probably they should make a proper, publish that so and so date this particular road will be closed.
So basically information has to be passed on to the people about works which are undertaken.
Many times when you come drive down, you do not know which side to go because that particular road is closed. Just like how the electricity department publishes that so and so days the power supply will be closed. Similarly, they could make a announcement beforehand. Proper signboards could be put. There's a detour on this road. There's no entry on this road.
Yeah.
So people, and don't take up all the jobs together so that the entire city comes to a standstill.
So let us take one of them at a time. So basically you are saying that information has to be passed on before
To the citizens, yes.
before undertaking a work, and at present the people are totally in the dark about which road they would have to take, because if you are forewarned, then you can avoid certain roads which are being taken for works. So first, information has not been given.
Yes.
What is the second point that you made?
They shouldn't be doing all these jobs together. They should be done phase by phase. Today you do this road, leave alone another road. There are parallel roads one-way roads in Panjim 2 or 3. So don't dig up all the roads together, or don't dig up all the areas together.
Yeah. So second is the phase-wise execution of the work and information passed on to citizens. So especially where there is no entry, every alternate road in Panjim which links the main road is entry and no entry.
Yes.
Now when the road for entry is closed, then which side the citizen, which is the alternate road to be taken by the citizen, that has to be
in these
informed.
cases what happens is you require a traffic cop around, because you see sometimes they are totally missing. Like for instance, today it took me 1 hour to come from Kala Academy to Mandovi Hotel at 12 o'clock. There was a total traffic chaos, total traffic jam. There were no cops to be seen at all, just one cop here at that
So
end.
traffic management is missing, especially traffic police are missing when there is total chaos on the streets of Panjim.
Yes, very important for the traffic police to be there to guide the traffic in the right direction.
Okay.
People's cooperation also is required. People also should understand. You cannot get irritated for everything that the government is doing.
Yeah.
It's all done. I mean, we have to undergo a little bit of hardship.
Yeah.
Someday we'll have beautiful roads, a beautiful city, Panjim. That is our dream to have.
Yeah.
And someday Panjim will be smiling forever.
Yeah. So okay. So in the end, there also has to be some cooperation from the people, because it is increasingly seen that when the number of traffic and vehicle on the road is increasing, people are also losing their patience.
Irritated.
Especially they start honking and start driving in a haphazard manner, and also trying to overtake and go onto the footpath, and this kind of behavior is now increasingly be seen, which is a result of lack of patience.
True.
So I thank my guest Mr. Alwyn D'Sa for coming on our program Citizen Herald once again, and for highlighting the problems which many people would face, and we put it before the authorities that they should proactively monitor, be responsible, do their duty, and make the life of citizens a little more easier, comfortable, and make Panjim a beautiful city once again, which is a pleasure to live with. So thank you audience for watching our program Citizen Herald. We hope that you enjoy watching Herald TV.